Okay, we're in Shemos, the book of Exodus. We're in PARSHA TETZAVEH, Perek Chaf Ches, Pasuk Aleph, chapter 28, verse 1. And it says like this, Ve'ata hachrev elecha es ha'aron achicha ve'es banav ito mitoch b'nei Israel lecha hano li. It says, and you bring near to yourself Aaron your brother and his sons with him from among the children of Israel, so that he shall be a Cohen to me. And I'm reading here from the Orach Chaim, and the Orach Chaim says we need to explain the reason for Hashem saying to Moshe and you, because we see even before this statement that Hashem's been talking to Moshe all along. So why and you? And also we need to explain why Hashem used the language of bringing near rather than saying take or to separate. In addition, we need to explain why Hashem added the word elecha to yourself, considering that the purpose of bringing near was to induct Aaron into the priesthood, the kehuna. In what sense then was he being brought near to Moshe? He was being brought near to Moshe. Orach Chaim cites a midrash, and he quotes Chazal from Shemos Rabbah, and he says that the kahuna was originally meant to be Moshe's portion, that is, he was supposed to be the Kohen and not Aaron. However, because he refused to go to Pharaoh when Hashem commanded him to do so, after he persistently refused several times, Hashem became angry at him, as the verse states in Shemos, Exodus chapter 4, verse 14, the wrath of Hashem burned against Moshe. And Hashem removed him from the office of priesthood that was supposed to be his. Hashem hinted this to Moshe when he immediately said to him, is there not Aaron your brother, the Levi? I know he will surely speak to Pharaoh. Why did Hashem refer to Aaron as a Levi? Or Chaim says he meant to indicate them to Moshe that until now, Aaron was supposed to remain an ordinary Levi. Since Moshe himself was meant to be the future Cohen, but now because of Moshe's refusal to go to Pharaoh, Aaron became the Cohen. And the Orach Chaim continues to elaborate on the midrash, and he says, Lazeh Amar Lo Bish As Maaseh Ve'ata. For this reason, at the time of Aaron's actual designation as Cohen, Hashem said to Moshe, and you, Perusha, meaning, he says, you should appoint Aaron as Cohen, not only because I command you to do so, but you should also, on a personal level, bring Aaron near as the Cohen in your place, and carry out the matter as if it's you on your own desire. Indeed, you should desire it, since this act of installing Aaron is having been brazen-faced before Hashem and refusing his command to go to Pharaoh. And when the verse says bring near to yourself, it means for yourself, for your own atonement. For when Moshe would bring Aaron near and give him the greatness that was supposed to be his own, sacrificing his desires and personal ambitions for Hashem's will. And the Orach Chaim says there's no greater korban than this, that Aaron stepped in for Moshe. He took his place. He became the korban. The korban comes from the word keruv, which means to draw near, to come close to Hashem. So we see here that Aaron became literally the offering. And our master, Yeshua, Rebbe, he says there's something very similar in the Brit Hadashah in Yochanan chapter 15, verse 13. He says, Ein ahava rabbah mehavas ha-nosein nafsho be'ad yedidav. He says, for there is no greater love, no love greater than the love of one who gives his life on behalf of his companions. And so here is the same thing going on. I believe this is a pure connection. And on top of this, we see that the Cohen Gadol, Aaron was the Cohen, and they wear this certain garments. And the Midrash points out what these garments do. Here's a picture of the Cohen Gadol. I know it's hard to see, but the Cohen's garments in TETZAVEH, we talk about, the sages mention that each of the garments worn by the Kohanim atoned for a particular sin. For example, the Kesonis atoned for murders which were not punishable by Beis Din because the absence of two witnesses. In such a if such a murder had been committed in Klal Israel, Hashem held the entire people responsible for it. The Kesonis atoned for this guilt. It was chosen for the specific sin, since it states that the brothers dipped Joseph's Kesonis, his shirt, into blood in Bereshit 37:31. And what was the blood? It was goat's blood. But Rashi says something amazing there, that why goat's blood? Because it resembles the blood of a man. And we see that even the Kohen would wear this choshen, the breastplate, and each of these instruments, the sages say, atoned for a different sin. And the breastplate, choshen equals 358 in gematria, in the numerical value, which is the same gematria as Messiah. And we see, it's just interesting how Aaron himself is called Mashiach in Vayikra chapter 4 verse 3. And we see that even Yeshua is called our Kohen Gadol, our high priest. And also, in this parsha, something else is unique. When it says, and you, well, the sages say, if we read through this whole parsha, we don't see Moshe's name anywhere. Moshe's name is not mentioned even once in the entire parsha of TETZAVEH. This was the fulfillment of a curse which Moshe brought upon himself. After the sin of the golden calf, he told Hashem, if you do not forgive their sin, I beg you, blot me out from your book which you have written. It actually says in Shemos 32 verse 32, it says, Mecheni na misifrecha. And misifrecha, the sefer means book. And when you put a kaf on the end, misifrecha, your book, but the kaf in gematria equals 20. Literally, erase me. And erase me from your 20th book. You see, a Zadik's words must take effect even if the condition attached to them is not fulfilled. Hashem consequently erased Moshe's name from Parsha TETZAVEH, which happens to be the 20th Parsha. Also, we see that Moshe loved Klal Israel so much that he was willing to have his name blotted out. He was willing to be erased, to put his life on the line so that Israel can live. Something that sounds very familiar. And so this is just a couple things that I was reading through and I wanted to share with all y'all. Have a great Shavua Tov, a good week, and continue to study, continue to learn Torah. Baruch Hashem, Shalom.